Boris Johnson got more fake friends than FaZe Banks. Straight up. So let's take a look. Let's get into it. Let's watch what Boris Johnson had to say. I mean, his resignation is pretty funny. And his speech was pretty funny overall.
Well, here he is, Nick. Let's see what the Prime Minister has to say.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. So I want to say to the millions of people who voted for us in 2019, many of them voting Conservative for the first time, thank you for that incredible mandate, the biggest Conservative majority since 1987, the biggest share of the vote since 1979. And the reason I have fought so hard in the last few days to continue to deliver that mandate in person was not just because I wanted to do so, but because I felt it was my job, my duty, my obligation to you to continue to do what we promised in 2019. And of course, I'm immensely proud of the achievements of this government, from getting Brexit done to settling our relations with the continent for over half a century, reclaiming the power for this country to make its own laws in Parliament, getting us all through the pandemic, delivering the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe, the fastest exit from lockdown, and in the last few months, leading the West in standing up to Putin's aggression in Ukraine.
Dude, this is the funniest thing. The whole, like, Putin's aggression in Ukraine. Like, I love that is, like, that is the line. That is the line of, like, a dying party, of a dying politician. Every time. And that you want to know how I know that? Because Democrats love using that line, okay? Like, no one, and I mean no one, gives a fuck about that inside of the borders of the United Kingdom, okay? Like, if he just said, like, oh, well, I did the Brexit thing and that was brilliant, then yeah, people are going to be like, yeah, you did. You did do that, bruv. Boris, Brexit means Brexit. Remember, you did a fucking great thing there, Boris. We'll never forgive, never forget. But, like, but when he was, like, talking about Ukraine and stuff, everyone's like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, it's just his only credibility as of late is him helping Ukraine, as if that's the only person. Exactly. That's what you grab onto if you are so media obsessed, okay? And you think, like, other people give a shit about that. Like, the average voter gives a shit about that. You're wrong. We're crazy about Ukraine. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you were crazy about Ukraine right now, in this very moment, you would be losing your fucking mind about, like, the hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers dying, like, literally every day. And you rarely, classic Hasan telling us Brits that what we actually think, Lamau. Come on, dude. Come on. I know the media makes it seem like people are, like, truly obsessed with Ukraine or whatever, but no. What is this? Are you this lawyer's stepdad? What the fuck? Bro, conservatives over here have been saying we've done Putin a favor by getting rid of him. Not being funny, mate. You don't live here. I do. I wouldn't tell you how WeHo is. Okay, dude. As though England and America are not nearly identical in the way that they fucking approach politics, and their neoliberal and like the neoliberal posturing that you see in the media is not necessarily reflected in the minds of the average British citizen. Okay? Everything that you said about the UK's approach to Ukraine can easily transfer to America's approach to Ukraine as well. But ultimately, neither country's citizens truly care. Neither country's politicians truly care. They just want to sell weapons. Okay? It's just virtue signaling. Exactly. Bruv, they're virtue signaling. We care about Ukraine, sure, but not as much as they make out. Exactly. And for as many, yo, didn't you say Russia won't invade Ukraine? Dude, this guy's we got a mobile chatter, dude. Yeah, that was an invasion ago. Motherfuckers on their deathbed, like dudes are gonna have like brain cancer, dying at the age of 87, and be like, remember that guy? He once said Russia won't be crazy enough to invade Ukraine because it would be disastrous. And I'm simply nitpicking the one part of that statement and not the other part that was completely accurate. Yeah.
And let me say now.
What? What's the completely accurate part? Go back and read the take and you'll understand what the completely accurate part was. I said it would be fucking disastrous for Russia to invade a country with 46 million people that despise them and engage in a long, drawn-out occupation, which I was right. And I'm still right on that.
To the people of Ukraine, that I know that we in the UK will continue to back your fight for freedom for as long as it takes. And at the same time, in this country, we've been pushing forward a vast program of investment in infrastructure and skills and technology, the biggest in a century, because if I have one insight into human beings, it is that genius and talent and enthusiasm and imagination are evenly distributed throughout the population, but opportunity is not. And that's why we must keep...
This motherfucker said, turns out you were wrong on that also. Like what? As in it hasn't been disastrous for Russia? No. It has been. It has been disastrous for Russia. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, my favorite type of dude, he said Russia wouldn't invade because it would be disastrous for Russia. Russia invaded and it was disastrous for Russia. And the motherfucker's like, well, you said Russia wouldn't invade. I can't, dude. Every single person that is using this as an opportunity to talk is specifically doing it to derail the content. They do not actually care about it. They're just baiting. And that's what happens when you're a fucking brain broken debate pervert. Your only existence and your only lens or your only tool of analysis of political events is from the is straight up from the debate pervertry. This guy thinks he knows everything. I don't. Anyway, let's continue with Boris.
Leveling up. Keep unleashing the potential of every part of the United Kingdom. And if we can do that in this country, we will be the most prosperous in Europe. And in the last few days, I've tried to persuade my colleagues that it would be eccentric to change governments when we're delivering so much and when we have such a vast mandate and when we're actually only a handful of points behind.
The only decent thing Boris Johnson did was vaccine delivery. That's pretty much it. Other than that, it has been disastrous. Did the NHS get funded like he promised after 9 years of austerity? Did that happen? Did he deliver on anything? This is exactly the same as the Democratic Party, dude. It's so funny that your fucking Tories are ironically identical to our Democrats, where they literally fucking say like, oh yeah, how dare you say we haven't done anything? Look at Ukraine. It's like, bro, it's literally a carved out, eviscerated, hole now. Thank you. Eastern Ukraine has turned into more Russian territory for Russia. And like so many people have fucking died. They're dying to artillery fire. You really killed it. You really fucking destroyed it, man. You did. Good job. Thank you for the help in Ukraine.
In the polls, even in midterm, after quite a few months of pretty relentless sledging, and when the economic scene is so difficult domestically and internationally. And I regret not to have been successful in those arguments, and of course it's painful not to be able to see through so many ideas and projects myself. But as we've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves.
One of his biggest manifesto pledges, the 40 hospitals, hasn't been fulfilled at all. 6 will be built a year after, and he said 40 would be. Useless cunt. Yeah.
It moves. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. And our brilliant and Darwinian system will produce another leader equally committed to taking this country forward through tough times, not just helping families to get through it, but changing and improving the way we do things, cutting burdens on businesses and families, and yes, cutting taxes, because that is the way to generate the growth and the income we need to pay for.
Bro, what is Zelensky doing, dog? Zelensky, if I was in his shoes, I would not be trying to fucking defend Boris Johnson's resignation to the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Johnson said that to Zelensky. This was misreported. We'll do top 5 Bojo moments. Don't worry about it. The king, dude. Absolute goated. Just today, the UK lost about £100 million in science grants from the EU because of Brexit. Nice. Just look at how strong and popular NATO is because of the invasion. Putin best PR for NATO for real. Oh, 100%. A big congratulations to Vladimir Putin for that one. That was pretty fire. Do you ever read articles or just the headlines? Holy fuck. Do you come in here to just write dumb shit like that when you don't personally know what the fuck I do? So you can clip that and like put it on a fucking subreddit and complain even though I do read the articles? Don't forget that the time Boris ran over a child while playing rugby, that was awesome. We'll get back to this in a second, though. Let's continue with the Boris Johnson take.
Public services. And to that new leader, I say, whoever he or she may be, I say, I will give you as much support as I can. And to you, the British public, I know that there will be many people who are relieved.
They're literally booing him. Yeah, they are. They will be.
Perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks. I want to thank Carrie and our children and all the members of my family who have had to put up with so much for so long. I want to thank the peerless British civil service for all the help and support that you have given our police, our emergency services, and of course, our fantastic NHS, who at critical moment helped to extend my own period in office, as well as our armed services and our agencies that are so admired around the world, and our indefatigable Conservative Party members and supporters, whose selfless campaigning makes our democracy possible. I want to thank the wonderful staff here at Checkers, here at Number 10, and of course at Checkers, and our fantastic prop force detectives, the one group, by the way, who never leak. Above all, I want to thank you, the British public, for the immense privilege that you have given me. And I want you to know that from now on until the new Prime Minister is in place, your interests will be served, and the government...
So, like, what, different than the past couple years? Is that what you're saying? Because I love, he's like, now I'm going to be good. I promise. Just like I promised that I would fund the NHS and then didn't continue to do so. Just like austerity continued just like you know, corruption continued within the Tory government. But now it's this time things will be different. Now that I have no stakes whatsoever.
Of the country will be carried on. Being Prime Minister.
Literally, the only reason he's fighting to stay on is so he can have his wedding party at Chequers, the Prime Minister's country manor house. Johnson's intend to hold Chequers' wedding party before Prime Minister departs. I love that. It's so petty. It's so stupid. And if you're living in the Western world, you deserve this kind of leadership, straight up. And this includes me. This is like a Trump-ass thing to do. You know what I mean? This is totally a Trumpian move. And I love it, personally. I think it's great. So petty, so fucking stupid, incredible.
Is an education in itself. I've traveled to every part of the United Kingdom, and in addition to the beauty of our natural world, I've found so many people possessed of such boundless British originality and so willing to tackle old problems in new ways, that I know that even if things can sometimes seem dark now, our future together is golden. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Let's take a look at what the crowd looked like. I love that. Fuck you, Boris! Fuck you, Boris, you fucking cunt!
Liar! The worst PM in history!
Boo!
Are we ready?
That's awesome. Here, there's
sure
they were playing the Benny Hill theme tune.
A couple of things. Firstly, we need to make sure that we keep the basic functions of government going. That's really important. There are, for example, no ministers in DfE at the moment. That needs to be sorted out.
Look at this fucking tune being played. Look at this tune being played in the background as Boris Johnson resigns. A fucking tune for your head top, yeah?
Secondly, I think we need to try and select a new leader.
Blasting a fucking tune, bruv.
And obviously, we need to make sure we make the correct choice, but we should do it in a reasonably quick time. In terms of Boris staying on, the convention is that the outgoing Prime Minister does carry on. That's what happened when Theresa May left office, is what happened when David Cameron left office. And, you know, given that, as we just a couple of things. Firstly, we need to make sure...
I love that. You could have saved him? Bro, I tried so hard.
Good evening, I'm Piers Morgan, Uncensored. Tonight, Boris Johnson...
You rarely ever see a fucking pig holding a pig, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I forgot to mention, Piers Morgan wanted me on a show to talk about gun violence in America. I was going to do it a couple weeks back, but I didn't have time, unfortunately.
Johnson must go. The greased piglet of politics has slipped and squirmed through almost 3 disastrous years of disorder and deceit. 38 resignations in 2 days have butchered his government, and tonight, surely, nothing can now save his bacon.
Dude, wait, let me see if I can do it in person. That could be fucking fire, dude. I'm gonna hit my manager up right now and see if I could do it in person. Holding a pig in case Cameron comes back. There's a lot coming from Piers, who's also a greasy piglet. Yeah, no, he's terrible. Yes. Next up, we have David Cameron to mouthfuck the pig. By the way, good luck flying into Heathrow or Gatwick. It's a bit of a shit show recently with luggage handling and staff being overwhelmed with tourists. I've heard, my friend, I've heard. What's it? Bring your son to work day in a studio or something? Yeah. You just called him a pig. He's not letting you on now. No, I think he'll still let me on. All right, let's look at. Hold on. Let's look at. Wait, where was another one that I wanted to show you? Where the fuck is it? We played the Benny Hill. All right, let's watch how we got here first.
The biggest character in modern British politics, who in beating his way to
Please don't do Piers Morgan. He's a piece of shit who just keeps speaking over you. Debate a clip. Yeah, but like, I am the #1 speaker over. You know what I mean?
number 10,
This whole debate is about democracy.
took the country out of the EU.
You must stay at home.
In office, he was confronted with one of
But
the
not me.
deadliest challenges ever faced.
You
by
must
any
stay at
prime
home.
minister,
Not me,
COVID-19.
though. I'm different.
But was
I
the
will throw a
downfall
party
of
for
this
Christmas.
great showman that he simply couldn't
I will throw a party for Christmas while you are separated from your dying relatives. I'm Boris Johnson. That's the reason, for the record, for people who don't understand, the reason why people were very frustrated with this, because, like, I'm sure a lot of people in America are like, what? Like, the British held their politician accountable for what? Violating COVID protocols. Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Democrats all around have violated COVID protocols that they themselves were, pushing for. But not only that, like, Republicans don't even believe in COVID, let alone want to advocate for COVID protocols. They advocated for COVID instead of the protocols. Right? Oh, dude, that's great. KFC UK popping off. Hey, conservatives, we found an even bigger chicken than you. Hey, conservatives, fixed it for you. Nice. Boris politics aside was a perfect example of a good personality during good times, but fell short during hard times. But I'm American and going off Twitter clips. You could have stopped it, held them accountable, and we still could have been would have been confused. I just all I'm stating is, for Americans who are watching right now, like, how the fuck did this happen? They have a mechanism of shame in the UK, and I personally thought Boris is so shameless that that mechanism was not going to work, right? Turns out I was wrong. It did work, as it has in the past. Even though, who knows? What if Boris tries to hang on? Who knows? And be like, well, no substitute came through, and therefore I must still continue being the prime minister as I care about the future of this country. So only partially wrong. He's prime minister till fall. So, pro tip, FedEx your luggage overnight to your London hotel and walk through the airport empty-handed. Really? We'll see. Anyway, listen. My point is, yeah, Limmy and Bojo holding on for dear life. My point is, for Americans, this seems like a distant thing. Like, this is like an incredibly distant concept. Holding a politician accountable, having a mechanism, a regulatory mechanism, or having any sort of accountability mechanism is weird, especially one that hinges on shame. That's also weird. So all of this happening is like unique, but when you find out the details of it, you're like, what the fuck? And that's why I said what I said earlier today, where I was like, listen, it's like fucking wild that these British Tories have no backbone. The fact that they are, pushing Boris out and voting voting for no confidence votes or whatever is such a foreign concept for us Americans, because we did, Trump did January 6th and has done sexual assaults allegedly, and the entire Republican Party was like, it was very good and we should do more of that, sir. And it's the truth. So it's wild, but I think it's partially because the economy's not doing all too great, and they wanted like a fall guy maybe. I don't know. I truly don't understand how this happened.
survive being seen for who he really was.
A liar, a showman, a buffoon, a rank incompetent, and probably the most shameful.
Bro, this guy is like, dude, this is a politician, bro. Did you fuck those girls? No. Do you know why I did not fuck those girls? Chat knows why. Because I was too busy fucking your mom. And I wouldn't dare cheat on her. And now you're banned. And your mom is fucked by me.
Shameful prime minister that Britain has ever had, and somebody the like of whom I pray we will never see again.
Now, I've always liked Boris Johnson. He's got a real earnest concern for the British people, and they feel it. And it's because they feel it that they love him so much. Well, what a tragedy that we've come to this. But we've come to this.
Yeah, Rory Stewart is my favorite. Rory Stewart is one of my favorite. Rory Stewart accused of racism for calling 3 black men minor gangsters. Remember Rory Stewart's like photo as well?
Guys.
Do you remember the photos that he took?
Hi. Are you happy to have a quick film? Good to see you. I'm Rory.
Lilo.
Nice to see you. Good to see you. I'm Rory.
Screw, bro.
Good to see you. Very nice to meet you.
I'm Seb.
Here, these, dude. This is the greatest, dude. Look. Thank you for coming, and so many others. Meet me at Hartlepool. Okay. Smiling. No. Okay. Smiling. Why did he post this? I mean, come on, bro. You really didn't have to fucking post this. But he did anyway. I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious that this is the sequence. Like, this is unintentionally incredible. Look at this expression. One of the things is not like others, dude, posting L's on main. You can't smile next to black people because they got better teeth than the bruv. I mean, everyone's got better teeth than the bruv. What are you talking about? Bro, the comments had the points out, right? Yeah, no, everyone was making fun of him for this. It was awesome.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you. Do you all live around here?
We do indeed, yeah, sort of.
Have you always lived around here?
We're from Ireland, actually.
You're originally from Ireland?
Dublin, Ireland, yeah.
Dublin?
Crazy. Yep.
And when did you move here? A few years ago. Hi there, I'm Rory. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good luck.
Thank you for saying hello. Thank you.
Nice. That's so cool.
So you're all from Ireland? You all grew up in Dublin? Great. Fantastic. And how long have you been here for?
What is this for?
I'm filming something. I'm a politician. I'm standing to be Prime Minister, so I'm going around meeting people.
Okay. Ah, sweet.
So I want to see what people are up to.
I don't fuck with politics, man.
You don't like
politics?
politics?
Politics. Nice to meet you, sir.
Very nice to meet you. Take care. Bye-bye. Nice to see you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. See you. Thank you.
World peace, bro.
Thank you.
So great.
Where's the minor gangsters thing? Stewart refer back to a clip at an event in London's Emmanuel Centre. One thing about social media is it allows people to see politicians listening. I can go to Brick Lane and see three sort of minor gangsters can come up to me and spend a minute telling me I'm an idiot. Whoa, my God. And I can film it on my phone and put it up, and people love watching people being rude to politicians. That's awesome. Sort of minor gangsters, you know. But that's the average Tory. And that's the ghoul that's saying Boris Johnson is the worst conservative. And you want to know something funny? They're all just as bad, and he's not even fucking wrong. Okay? This is how it is. If you're a Tory, I mean, that's why I made that joke earlier. Like, oh man, they fucking hired a sexual assaulter. The worst thing he did was sexually assault a full-grown adult instead of a child. Like the rest of the Tories and the Lords. Oh my God, I'm literally going to get banned from the UK before I fucking enter the country if I keep this up.
So much. Well, what a tragedy that we've come to this. But we've come to this by his own hand, I'm sorry to say.
In a way, this will be, as always, a personal tragedy. You know, many of the factors that brought Boris Johnson to be Prime Minister are also responsible for his fall.
Johnson set out in life to be a winner. As a child, his stated ambition was world king.
Bro, look at that fucking hair, dog. Look at all that hair.
And his method, self-belief, even if not everything he said was true. As a journalist, he was sacked from the Times for misrepresentation, and in politics was sacked again from his first frontbench role for lying about an affair. But with celebrity appeal and a radar for popular policy, he became London's first Conservative mayor, dubbed the Heineken politician, reaching parts other Tories couldn't.
Thank you for sticking up for London and for the innocent, hard-working people of this city.
So why not reach number 10?
Get me a ladder.
Whether he believed in Brexit or not, joining Vote Leave provided a platform and a policy that appealed to many grassroots Tories. And while Theresa May had first stab at delivering Brexit,
Boris Johnson.
Hey, remember when they were going to take the 350 million quid away from the EU and put it back into the NHS? Remember that? That never happened. Shocking, shocking, dastardly. I do declare.
Is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party.
he convinced the Tories and then the electorate that his so-called oven-ready deal was better.
I think that his strength really lay in campaigning. I think had he picked a particularly strong team around him and enabled himself to do more of the campaigning while others did more of the governing, I think he might still be in place.
His rise had been on the sail of optimism, so his initial approach to the pandemic was the same.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody, you'll be pleased to know.
Accused of being slow to lock down, he succumbed to the virus. Meanwhile, his controversial advisor Dominic Cummings broke the rules. Then, his apparent rivalry with the Prime Minister's new bride, Carrie Johnson, led to him being cut loose, instantly becoming his former boss's fiercest critic.
Tens of thousands of people died who didn't need to die.
But Johnson had got Brexit done, albeit with stored-up problems in Northern Ireland.
So he's gone.
His next success was on the vaccine rollout. It was world-beating, far faster.
Yeah, I mean, to the Tories, Brexit is going to be seen as a massive dub. To the Lib Dems and the conservative wing of the Labour Party, his defeat over Corbyn is going to be seen as like a dub. To the Conservatives, his defeat over Corbyn will be seen as a dub. And his vaccine distribution across the board was like, pretty solid. So that's it. Other than that, everything else is dog shit.
Than the EU. He'd won an 80-seat majority, and he'd been quick to support Ukraine against aggression from Russia. And for those reasons, supporters forgave his failings for as long as they could. His initial support for Owen Paterson, who was guilty of lobbying while accepting cash, the donor-funded refurbishment of his flat above number 11, the number 10...
I know Jonathan Pye is a lib.
...parties during lockdown, and the inconsistencies over what the Prime Minister knew.
Nobody said to me, this is an event that is against the rules.
Still, a police investigation finds...
You're forgetting Ukraine is on? Yeah, because, that's just, no matter who's in charge, that's a consistent reality. You know what I mean? That is a military-industrial complex play. Just as it is in the United States and as it is in the UK. What is this? Soon? From May 5th. What the fuck?
...him for breaching his own laws.
He thought he could play it all as he has all his life, ever since he was a schoolboy at Eton. He thought he could do it his own way, and he found out, and many people said from the very beginning that it would go wrong. The question was only when.
When Deputy Chief Whip Chris Pincher stood down after allegations of sexual harassment, it emerged the PM had been warned of previous behaviour. He denied knowing Then, when it was clear he did, said he'd forgotten. His Chancellor and Health Secretary.
I'm sorry, this is pretty funny. Like, it's pretty gross, obviously, but like seeing people get mad over an appointee being like a sexual assaulter is unheard of. Like, when in America it happens like once every 10 years, I think. And certainly not in the Conservative Party. Holy fuck. Like, in America, it's like, oh yeah, this guy, bro, we have a dude in Missouri running for an ex-governor who quite literally like beat his child. He beat his baby and like sexually assaulted and kidnapped a fucking a staffer or something and like tied her up and said that he would release revenge porn about her if she ever came out against it. And he beat up his wife too. And he has a high chance of winning. He's going to win. That guy's going to win. Like, this is not a joke. Alert. Nothing I just said is a fucking joke. Bojo also called sexual assault because Pincha by name, Pincha by nature. Classic Boris moment. The president said grab him by the pussy. The guy who we're talking about, yeah, we've already, what is this? Oh, the lies of Boris Johnson from the Scottish Independence 2023. Wait, what the fuck is this? This has 841 views, brother. What the hell is this? It's incomprehensible. It's incomprehensible to think about. It's incomprehensible to think about like American politics in the same fucking conversation as I mean, here, this is it. This is Eric Greitens is his name. I'm just gonna show you once again. So Eric Greitens was in the news. I covered it on Leftovers a little bit as well as this stream. But he was in the news because he made a fucking campaign ad because he's running for Senate for the Republican Party right now. He used to be the governor, ex-governor of Missouri, had to resign in disgrace because of the revenge porn, sexual assault, kidnapping accusations. Okay? This guy cut out a fucking video saying he's going to kill rhinos with his, like, you know, brigade of ex-Marines or whatever.
Rhino hunting.
Look at this. Like, he just, like, breaks into a fucking home and says he's going to kill other Republicans. This is rhino hunting season. Okay? But that's not all. That's not the only thing. That's not the only motherfucking thing, dude. He has, like, multiple sexual assault and abuse allegations against him. He beat his, like, little baby and his wife. Think about that. Rhino means Republican in name only, for those of you who don't know. Like, that's American politics, dude. That's American politics in comparison to, like, Boris Johnson hiring a sexual assaulter.
Had enough and set in chain a crumbling of his support.
I think he will be remembered as a great communicator. The man that absolutely delivered Brexit. But I think it will also remember somebody that fundamentally didn't listen.
The man who could reach the parts others couldn't was plunging to the depths, pulling his party with him. It took a damagingly long time for them and him